back, everybody.
Jinx.
Jinx, you'll be a soda. Welcome back, everybody, to ROC Movie Reviews.
Yeah.
In the last episode, we talked about another horror film, The Woman in Black 2.
Yep.
Today, we're switching it up, and we're giving you that review that we've been saying has been filmed, but was never posted.
And we promised that during our top movies of the decade.
We promised this during our top movies of the decade. Full disclosure, accidentally deleted the footage, had to refilm it, so that's on me. That's on me. But now that we're here, we're going to continue our DCEU review series because we have a couple more to do now.
Yeah.
And we're starting with last year's Joker.
It's so awful, isn't it?
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do. And people are starting to notice.
You think this is funny? Is this a joke to you?
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? Send in the clowns.
Now remind me, did you see this in the theaters?
I did see it in the theaters.
That's right, you did. That's right, you did. I didn't. I waited until January to see it when it came out on Blu-ray, obviously, because I was not sure about the movie. I wanted to see it, but I was hearing other things about it. There was a huge controversy about surrounding
I would
it.
cause violence and stuff.
I know, yeah, but I also...
They've said that about a bunch of movies, and that really was not the case.
I know, but in fairness, the Dark Knight Rises screening, when that guy came in with the guns and everything...
Well, I mean, that guy was just a nut job.
Oh, I know, but since this was the character of Joker that was portrayed also by a different person in Dark Knight Rises... Dark Knight, but Batman related, that this was another film kind of along the lines, and it was about a character that did really awful things. I just didn't really want to take the risk of seeing that kind of a thematic movie like that in the theaters around that time.
Yeah.
So I just waited. You know what? I just waited. I wanted to watch it in the comfort of my own home. I watched it a couple of months ago back in January. This is a very, very good film. That being said, I'm glad I didn't see it in the theaters because I think it would have made me feel rather uncomfortable. I know that's the movie's goal.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that I watched it in the safety of my own home.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so if you don't already know, Joaquin Phoenix, Best Actor Oscar for this movie, much deserved.
Definitely.
I think I saw this before the Oscars premiered. I'm trying to remember. Either I saw it just prior to, or I saw it right after the Oscars. It was around that time. But great performance. I've never been a huge fan of Phoenix, but I have to say, this is my favorite performance of his. He is just magnetic.
I think this is like the first movie I've seen him in.
I've seen him in a couple of other movies.
I know he's done past movies, but this is the first time.
He's kind of an odd one, and he takes a lot of interesting roles, and I'm sure he is a great actor. Before seeing this movie, he was never one that I sought out in other films.
Yeah. But
yes, he's been in plenty. Now that I've seen this film, I'm definitely going to look out for some of his other movies and see what they're about.
Yeah, cool.
Before we jump into casting, because we already mentioned Phoenix, story...
Yeah. So, basically, the plot revolves around this guy named Arthur Fleck, who is a struggling comedian who's in poverty living with his mother.
Also a street clown.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you basically just see him going through hell.
Mm-hmm.
And with this hell, he basically like comes up with this character called Joker.
Yep.
Because everyone is just basically hating on him and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty similar
Yeah.
to the one that IMDb gives. In Gotham City, mentally troubled comedian Arthur Fleck is disregarded and mistreated by society. He then embarks on a downward spiral of revolution and bloody crime. This path brings him face to face with his alter ego, the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
This is it's about a 2 hour and 2 minute movie. I was never bored during this thing.
No.
Just from the beginning when he like gets beat up by all of those kids
Oh, yeah.
in the streets or whatever, I was like, oh, this is the tone we're going
Yeah.
for.
It's like you feel bad for the guy.
You do. And for this to be the same director of the Hangover trilogy and War Dogs, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that was a shift. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen a bigger shift since the Farley brothers, Farrelly directed Dumb and Dumber 2, or Dumb and Dumber, the original, and then did Green Book,
Yeah.
which is an Oscar winner.
Oh yeah.
So, like, holy crap in that regard. So, yes, Todd Phillips, excellent job directing this movie. I didn't think this kind of movie he was capable of.
Yeah.
But hey, when directors surprise you, it's a treat for everybody involved. So that's the overall story. You've got Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck,
AKA the Joker.
AKA the Joker. He is excellent in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He sells all
Oh,
of
yeah.
it, and he is just a force.
The guy sounds and acts just like how you would imagine the Joker.
Yep.
And he's also got some very iconic lines as well.
He has a ton of iconic lines in this
Something
movie.
that not very many movies do nowadays, sadly.
Yeah, I think he's very old school. He's definitely one of the last, classic, method actors. He's very physical in this role.
Yeah.
He throws himself into it. He is kind of like Daniel Day-Lewis in the sense where he becomes his characters.
Oh, yeah.
So in that regard, wow. It took my breath away when I first watched it. There's multiple scenes in this movie where you're just, kind of staring at the screen, and you know you shouldn't really be watching what you're watching, but you can't look away.
Yeah.
Because it's just after he kills those, I guess this is a spoiler, but after he kills
those 3 guys on the subway,
and then
they
just,
were beating him up.
Right, and then just starts to do kind of this dance in the bathroom.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's pretty much just had enough of it.
Yeah. And you kind of cheer for him because it's you're put in a really awful situation that this corrupt city, and just more and more bad stuff happens to him, and you're just it compels the audience to want to be with his character because you see that even though what he's doing is not good, the film asks the question, what is good anymore?
Yeah.
So that in that regard, it's just incredibly effective. The supporting cast is really good. Mr. Robert De Niro from Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy, 2 films that this film references. Robert De Niro plays Murray Franklin. He's a talk show host. Wow, a lot of stuff with that character and Arthur's character. The tension, the tension.
Oh, yeah.
Just
especially towards the end.
When you bring me on stage, can you introduce me as Joker?
Yeah.
And in the trailer, you thought, it's just they said the movie's title, but no, in the actual sense of the movie, when you're watching it in that context, it's it just kind of gives you jitters, and it's just woo. So very effective in that regard. Zazie Beetz as Sophia Dumond. She's in the movie a little bit. I guess she's the only person I don't really see why her character was in the movie.
I'd say that was probably one of the only parts I didn't like about this movie was it was her character, and you find out she's imaginary. Spoiler again.
Well, she's not imaginary. She is an actual person, but his interactions with her, he was dreaming.
I thought she was imaginary.
No. She was not. She was not imaginary. That's why when he interacts with her in the last scene with her character, she doesn't know really who he is. And she's a person, and she's got a kid, but the interactions where she was treating him nicely, they were all in his mind.
Alright.
That's where the psychological element comes from. I actually really liked that angle they took. I just didn't see anything more besides that why her character needed to be in the movie. Great actress. She was awesome as Domino in Deadpool 2, but in this movie I was okay, she was in it. She got paid. Great. She did a good job. but she was definitely one of the lesser characters in the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think the last two people to really mention, actually three, I guess.
Yeah.
Frances Conroy is Penny Fleck, which is Arthur's mom. She did a really good job. There's a scene where he does something to her later on that was, I think, what's the line? He says,
I used to think my life was a tragedy.
Yeah.
But then I realized
it's a
comedy.
comedy. Yeah. That was one of the best lines in the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, woo! And it was so chilling. So she was really good. Brett Cullen, seen him in a lot of stuff. He plays Bruce Wayne's dad, Thomas
Wayne. Yep.
Who's actually in this movie more than I expected. Did a really good job. Really played a douche.
Yeah.
Like a real dick. And his interactions with Arthur were very heated,
Yeah.
I will say. Arthur gets punched in the face a lot in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, holy crap. He gets beat up
He's
a
basically
lot.
the epitome of a punching bag.
Yeah, he is the epitome of a punching bag. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. But I mean, he does quite a bit of violence and punching back towards people. So, you know, and that's kind of where the part where you root for him because you're like, oh yeah, get him or whatever. Yeah. Shea Wiggum, another character actor, he plays one of the detectives that's on Arthur's trail, is hunting him throughout the movie. I mean, he's good in everything he's in, so nothing different here. And Bill Camp was the other detective as well. These are both really good actors, really good character actors. Glenn Fleshler as Randall and Lee Gill as Gary. The short guy and the tall guy, his co-workers. The scene where he has painted his face white and they come in, and the way that scene plays out.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Did not expect that at all.
Did not expect that. Was a great scene. Has so much going on in the scene where you could, film critics and people could analyze it just from like the different layers and levels that the scene is operating on.
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow. I think that's the main cast. Excellent performances from everybody. No complaints aside from Zazie Beetz not really needing to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. Moving on to cinematography. This film looks incredible. Would you agree? This film looks great.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Gotham City is completely and fully realized in this movie. It's drab. It's drenched in dirt and grime.
Yeah.
It's the subway tunnels are like graffiti everywhere. It just feels really dirty. And cinematographer Lawrence Sher did an excellent job of capturing that. Cinematographer of the Hangover movies.
Yeah.
No surprise there. Great job, Mr. Sher. And the original music, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it actually won the Oscar as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Original music by Hildur Guðnadóttir. I am totally butchering that. Yeah. I have heard her scores in other movies. She's a damn good composer. She has composed other films such as The Chernobyl Show that I heard absolutely amazing things about.
Never seen it.
I haven't either. She composed Arrival with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. It's a sci-fi film.
I haven't seen that either.
Excellent. Get on that. And she composed the second Sicario film, Day of the Soldado, which also had a great score. So really strong work despite being a pretty new composer.
Yeah.
Great job. I can't remember. I don't want to butcher her name again, but great job to her.
Yeah.
This is a great movie overall. It is very separate from the rest of the DCEU.
It's not what you would expect from a Joker movie, though.
It's not what you would expect from a comic book film either. I think that this film could be put in the conversation of Logan, The Dark Knight, and other films like Road to Perdition and A History of Violence, which are technically based on comic books.
Yeah.
But they're told with such a gritty realism to them. It's like they just feel like actual movies.
Oh yeah.
This film is really good. It's near perfect in my opinion. I was genuinely floored by the performances, especially with Phoenix's. I know they're talking about doing a second one. I'd be fine if they did another one, but I'd also be fine if they stopped it.
Yeah.
I think it's a
one-off.
one-off.
Just the one would be just fine.
Yeah. If they somehow made it interesting and they continued Arthur's journey as Joker, I might be interested in seeing that just for his performance alone because it was mesmerizing.
Yeah.
Joker, for me, gets a 9 out of 10. I do highly recommend it, but you need to know what kind of film that you're getting into before you watch it.
Yeah.
It's a psychological character study, not a comic book film. The violence is not for the excitement or laughs. It's genuinely disturbing. And it's a film that will probably make you want to shower afterwards, but you'll be happy that you saw it.
Yeah.
Because the last shot in this film is... or the last couple shots in this film are like... whoa.
Yeah.
What's your score?
I would give this an 8.
8 out of 10?
Yep.
So we both think it's above average. I think we both recommend watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our review of Joker. If you haven't seen it already, and you are the kind of person that wants to see this kind of film, get on it. And we will talk to you guys in our next review, whether that be a game review, a movie review, or some other video in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Stay safe, everybody, and we will talk to you very soon.
Alrighty, see ya.